host, Dwayne Cofield. This is Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What's good, family? Man, I'm telling you, man, a lot of times, I'm going to just start with this. When you about to hit a certain message, when you're about to really open up, right, and really get people involved and help them understand what type of thing is going on, right? I see it with my own eyes every single day, every day. The spiritual warfare, I promise you, the spiritual warfare is absolutely crazy, and you seen it on full display last night. What did Denzel say, man? At your highest moment, at your peak, the enemy's coming for you, and that's what I mean. It's like I've been victim of it, where he rushes you, all this, right? But more importantly, I want to talk about a few things, man, because I was enlightened on another thing as well. I was watching another documentary on Suge Knight. But if this is your first time tapping in, man, make sure you put where you repping from in the comments. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. If it's not your first time, hit that share button, man. We certainly appreciate it. If you're listening from all over the world, man, please leave us a review of your experience. And if it's any of this content has benefited you, if it's benefited you in any type of way, please feel free to let us know. Let the world know as well, so that we can gain more listeners, man. If you haven't subscribed, we're almost at our goal for this year for subscribers on YouTube is 1,000, man. We're halfway there, and it's only month 3. So big shout out to God on that one. And more importantly, me, myself, by putting it on paper. And thirdly, you for supporting the movement, man. We couldn't do it without you all. So thank you. Yeah, man. So I watched a documentary, and this is the thing, man. This is the way I feel all the time, is that God talks to you in whatever method that he needs to use, right? So if you're listening to the radio, you listen to music, he may send messages through music. If you're watching TV, soap operas, whatever the case, whatever he needs, right? He's that what is that? What is the word I'm looking for? He's everywhere, right? I can't think of the word I'm looking for, right? But he's everywhere, right? Everywhere where he needs to be, especially where you're paying attention. Wherever your attention's going, that's where God's going to send you your messages, right? And I'm not getting on the religious stuff, but I'm telling you how real it is, right? But at the same time and at that same breath, man, the enemy's coming too. He got the invite too, right? And it's a test of faith of what you're going to do in this situation. You're going to make a move this way, you're going to make a move the other way, right? And it was clear last night which direction. And right as soon as it happens, the enemy's out. He is out. He got suggestions. He rocking with you in the bathroom, putting your suit on. Oh, you fly, homie. Yeah. Anybody say something now, man, you just going to smack the taste out there, man. Right? He come with all these suggestions, right? So that's the thing, right? And on back, and I'll go back and forth, and then I'll talk about how that experience applies to us, right? And how we get tested a lot, and we don't even recognize some of the things that we being tested with the enemy, right? But a lot of times, those that have been to the pen, it's usually once you go to court, you realize the enemy done left, right? And when they start talking about time and all that, then you realize the enemy gone. But the enemy rocking with you the whole time, man, pumping you up, right? The enemy call that fool pump you up and everything. He'd come with suggestions, the past, right? And that's the only thing he has to use is the past. It'll come out of nowhere, some random cat, some random story, something to throw you off. And the cold part about the enemy, he studied your past in so much detail because it's public record according to faith, right? It's kind of out there, right? So when you look at what the enemy's done, he studied, man, okay, to a T. I know this pissed you off. I know this was a low point in your life. I know this stings like hell because I remember in 85 when they did it, you didn't get over it until this or this and this and that, right? He got notes, details, the whole 9 of the things that piss you off, the things that can distract you. He has all that. I'll kid you not. You think he doesn't? You'll see things, you'll be like, man, I can't stand that. Oop. What's going on, Tanisha Keys? What's cracking, man? I love the good news. Keep it popping, man. God got something in store for you to believe that one. Trust me on that. The harder the road, man, blessings about to be even sweeter, man. Trust me. We got stories. We can compare notes once you do what you got to do. We're going to compare notes. You dig? But anyways, once that cat, you know what I mean, he's suggestion, the past, that's all he has is what you've already done, what you've already experienced, and he uses it against you. Right? It's like confessing to that one person, you just pour your heart out and this and that, and they start bringing the shit up. Well, you did. That's how the enemy get at. But he bring it up at the worst time, right? When you at your most vulnerable point. When you looked at the Will Smith thing, right? He was at his most vulnerable point because he didn't know what was going to happen, right? He expected probably disaster. He expected somebody to do some bullshit. You know, and that thing that's that whole mental thing, you know, and he's mentally tough. But like us, the more mentally tough we talk, the more mental challenges we're going through, we really talking to ourselves, right? You know, we really trying to pump ourselves up. And if you read his book, that's what he's been experiencing, right? I went to the thing. I know this is his year. This is his moment. This was his. And you think the enemy that been fighting him all that time just gonna be like, all right, well, I give up. Nah, I'm gonna try to embarrass you to the T at your highest moment, right? It's just like you getting your award speech and some drunk homie come out of nowhere with some bullshit story or something to try to mess you up. You know what I'm saying? That's you at your moment here. You like, man, where this cat come from? You know what I'm saying? You like, oh, that's that type of situation. It got to come from him. He like, man, I'm at my highest peak. I'm at the top of my game right now. You think the enemy ain't gonna throw something darts at you? You think it's gonna be sweet? Man, hell no. Nah. The enemy's chunking stuff at you. He's gonna catch you with something that he knows stings. Then he's gonna throw it right in your face. Right, and that's how you know whether you realize you've arrived to your goal or wherever you're trying to get or not. That's an indication. So I know when I'm getting the most resistance, when I'm feeling like I'm fighting the hardest. I know that my blessings right around the corner. I had that conversation with my mom all the time. Like, man, my wife too, like, golly, I can't get this fool off my back. First thing in the morning, he throwing me curves all afternoon, damn near about to tap out, flashing on my kids, right? All this stuff, getting you out of character because that's all he want to do is get you out of character, period. Let me get you out of character so I can get you to start working for me. Once I get you out of character, man, the work for me is easy. Because now you're under my guidance, right? Your foundation is compromised, right? So now you just blowing with the wind, whatever way you like. Nah, you got to get your foundation together, and that's why it's so important to have not only people but tools around you, so that when you know you out of whack, you go resort to them immediately, right? And I said that Ebonic just clowning, but you need to go to those resources, and you need to understand just the same way we file shit on our desktops and important. This is my go-to bag. Here's my podcast. Here's my books. And you can reread books. Sometimes you need to read the 4 agreements to check yourself, right? So that you're not taking things personally, so that you're not making assumptions, so that you are doing your best, right? So that you are speaking the impeccable word, right? And then when it becomes second nature like that, when you can repeat the 4 agreements off the top of your head, you know it's implanted. But sometimes you need to remind yourself of that. You need to go read other books. Who Moved My Cheese? To recognize when it's time to move on from an industry or a situation that you've outgrown, right? Or depending upon something. Unemployment. That's why these cats is robbing everything now. Unemployment then dried up, right? Ain't no more PPP loans, right? The Chargers is these cats is out here. You feel me? So that's why it's stick ups and hold ups now. Those are increasing. So they needed to read Who Moved My Cheese, right? You be in a much better position. Move your own cheese, you did. You don't have to worry about somebody moving it on you. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't like to read. I'm like, I did it. But pop on an Audible. But my last probably 4 or 5 books have been Audibles because I can do other stuff. I'm trying to work. Well, I work out the different music, but if I'm doing like a run or something like that where I just need the longevity, I'm gonna listen to that. You know what I mean? Or work or whatever I'm doing and zone out. I got a long ride, but that's what I do. So I'm saying I got everything that I get, 90% of it's from books. You know, and unfortunately, I feel like people are like, listen to it then, rather than listen to him or her, because they coming with second secondhand information, and most of it ain't accurate. And a lot of it's, especially if it's certain people, it might even be the enemy talking to you, right? Because the enemy travels, and we've had that conversation. And he's not a stationary fool. Like, I'm gonna just post up here and I look like this. It's situations, it's people, it's all kind of things that he can use, right, to distract you. Same things that God can use to inspire you, that fool can use to distract you. And you have to know the difference. If you don't understand the difference, you need to recognize the signs, right? How does it feel? This don't feel right. You go around somebody, you be around somebody's company, you're like, I don't, something about you. Okay, well, a situation, an opportunity, right? Who's presenting, hey man, come over here. Woo, woo. And now some don't feel right about that. Or you always doing this, or somebody just come out of nowhere with some type of complain about you, or saying, "Oh, home, you don't never call, you don't never take," man. You know, that don't make me feel good. And if you got those types of feelings, it's probably Lucifer affiliated. You feel what I'm saying? Whether they know it or not, you can't blame them. Don't take it personal, but just know, man, that, you know what? I don't know if the enemy around you. I don't know if he in you. I just know I ain't. I'm good. You dig? Yeah, man. We're gonna keep it over there, and not even trip. Not even feel any type of way. You're not obligated to anybody. Watching you guys hear the book of the week, the book, the I got a new one. It's fascinating. It's next level, but it's talking about how we view things as competition. When we look at things, when we look at everybody, it's a competition thing. We already measuring them up. We run across a cat pulling the move next door. What he got? What kind of car he got? Who is he? Where he work at? You always trying to measure somebody up. And once we get out of that form of competition, man, life becomes easy. Like, there was an example the guy gave. He was like, I'm short compared to you, or whatever the case may be. And he said, if I was here by myself on this earth, that wouldn't matter, because I wouldn't know that I was short. You feel what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen anybody tall. And there was other examples that the book gave, but that was a really interesting point. Like, only time that I thought I wasn't much is when I started measuring myself up to somebody else. Right. But as far as I was concerned, my confidence in just looking yourself in the mirror and just realizing the miracle that you are, that should be enough. But oftentimes, man, we get deflated when we sit up there and get to looking at other people, other bodies. Damn, and we start to measure ourselves without looking at the actual ingredients, meaning their story, how they actually got to that point, or what they're actually trying to accomplish. Right. And we talked about that last week, right? Or the last time, how measuring ourselves can be one of the biggest faults and fastest ways not to achieve our dreams. Right. But if we are to measure or to compare ourselves, we need to compare ourselves to their starting points. And you'll realize sometimes that people that you comparing yourselves to might have had a hell of a head start. So why you compare yourself to them? Right. You set yourself up for that disaster. Do you have a rich dad that gave you 3-4 million? No. Okay. Well, then don't compare yourself to that cat. You got two different paths. You dig? So compare yourself to somebody who makes sense, who started at the same as you. And if you don't find anybody else, you may have to be the prototype, right? You may have to be the first one. You may have to be that example. You may have to be the sacrificial lamb. But by all means, get cracking. And don't let the enemy stop you, because he's going to strike, especially when you get close. So you get close to starting, you get close to finishing something, you get close to whatever it is that you and God got going, man, that fool's going to come with the vengeance. The event, and it may seem subtle to other people, right? It may not even seem like much, but he know what sting you the most. He know what's going to wipe you out. He know what's going to hit you in the gut and stop you from moving. And he's throwing it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to throw it and hit you with it. You have to be prepared to take the blow. One, you have to be prepared to take the blow, because it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be something that really, really damn near test you. Like, oh man, I see a cat that try to jack me or something. I'm like, oh, perfect opportunity. I got the biscuit. He don't even see it coming. You know what I'm saying? And then what? The enemy like, oh, he's like, man, this is perfect. You can get him right now. You can get him right now, man. Look at him. He ain't got his back turned. He ain't got nobody even with him. Ain't no cameras around. Look around, dog. You see any cameras? Man, go ahead and do that, man. Can't let him get away with that. That's how he talked to you. That's exactly how he talked to. Go ahead, homie. You got a rating. Ain't nobody gonna hear nothing. And then that's when cats take it across that line, right? When you get to, I always use that example of Steve Urkel. If anybody watched Family Members, he's had a God and the devil on one shoulder, and one would always be convincing him of doing one thing. And that's how the enemy talks to you and catches you. He catches you, and you just hit you with that blow. You can't let that ride. That's what he got in Will Smith's head. You can't let that ride, homie. You know what I'm saying? Man, he been coaching him for the last week, man. Little shots. Let me throw this at you on the red carpet. They disrespect him. Will, man, you gonna go for that shit? Boom. Let me throw another jab at you. Hey, I told you. They disrespecting, homie. You going for that? All right, I can't get him. I know what's gonna get him. Let me tell a joke about her and embarrass the shit out of him. That'll get him. Lo and behold, that was the point. And you got to know when he coming for you. Man. Will been trying to win an Oscar, man. This fool been, killing performances. Finally got his due diligence. That enemy know what's coming. Oh, God, you about to bless him with that? Not before I hit him with this. And on his path, you seen it coming, even with the young head. That she embarrassed him. I'm gonna make you fall with this. I'm gonna hit you in the gut with this. I'm gonna embarrass you with this nigga. Right? I'm gonna embarrass you with this cat and reach you in stuff that you can't even stump. You like, man, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I'm gonna put it out there. He still got to stand tall, still made the good movie. All right, man, on your night. That's how you know when the enemy after somebody and after that greatness, because he's changing people's lives. He's changing people's lives with that book. He's changing people's lives with his videos. He's changing people's lives, and God don't want that. The enemy don't want that. I'm like, God don't want that. Are you tripping? But the enemy don't want that. He don't want you spreading no messages. He hates when I go live. Maybe trying to give me technical difficulties, got my ring going off. He like, man, I'm about to try like, dude, we done been through this, man, for damn near 2 or 3 years, homie. You ain't stopping this. And you know it. What we doing right here, we changing lines. I don't care if it's one listener, one watcher. That's it. One life at a time. That's it. Because if I could make a move and you watch me make my move and you make one of the moves that I made, somebody's watching you. So that means that I multiply. That's 2 people. Somebody watching them. 3 people. Somebody watching them. 4. And by me just being consistent and that one person watching me and just taking one nugget. I don't care, man. You ain't got to take nothing else. One nugget. One book suggestion. You changing the world. The problem is people don't want to, or they don't believe they can. Right? I don't believe I can change the world. Just keep changing you. All people watching. Just keep doing it. Show them it's cool to read. Show them it's cool to change. Show them it's cool to go through this, go through that, go to school, finish school, whatever. Show them it's cool to do that. So it's cool to switch it up. So it's cool to go out with your family and eat and show it. Got to be with the homies. What is we still doing that? I guess. So and that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. I ain't on nobody. Do your man, whatever floats your boat. But one thing you need to be aware of is the closer that you get to that goal, the closer you get, the more swings he's coming with, the more technical jabs he's coming with, the more haymakers he's coming with, the more hooks he's going to throw. And these are all going to be different combinations. They're going to be different types of things. He going to throw work shit at you. He going to throw family stuff at you. He going to throw spousal stuff at you. He going to throw kids shit. Man, you name it. Whatever it takes, whatever it takes. I'm telling you, whatever it takes to throw you off. That's his entire objective. Because if you accomplish this, right, and you one of the people that wasn't supposed to do it, that shows that miracles are still popping. That means that people gonna still have belief and faith, right? When they start to see people who ain't supposed to be here, who ain't supposed to be successful, winning, right? And winning by not by taking, winning by being good, winning by being, a beacon of light to certain people. That's what what God's intention is, to show I can pass my message through folks. I can still get my message out. There's still soldiers out here. So while they doing these videos, I see more people doing videos. I'm like, man, work it, homie. Whatever the message, I don't care. Man, I've been a sacrificial lamb for years. Me and God know what time it is. Do it at work. And man, come on. I'm guided by God, not by man. Never have been. Man can't. That's why I left the game. Man, not letting this give me credit for who I am. So I busted it from square one. Square one, nothing. No cat, ain't nobody threw me nothing. Don't want to hear it. All lies. Started from square one. Worked at school. Boom, boom, boom. Now we here. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's my path, right? But other people have different paths to get there, and whatever it takes to get there. But the main thing you don't want to do is let the enemy convince you to do something in the heat of the moment, right? When you feel like you got socked, when you feel like you caught one, don't let him get you in the heat of the moment, because it's going to be a hell of a punch, and you're going to feel like you got to bite or react. You're going to feel like you have to, like your hand was forced. And that's what he does. Let me force his hand. If I can force his hand, he going to go up there and do what man, you should have, that's what he probably said, man, slap him, man. You should have fired on him, dog. You should have broke his teeth. That's what he looking for. You know what I'm saying? I want you to do my work, man. Kill him. Bust on him. Like I was watching Suge Knight and them. I'm like, you look at things and people doing stuff and you say, man, they getting away with everything. Then you see the downfall hard because the enemy bounces. He's out, homie. I'm trying to tell you, he's like, man, oh, they giving out time? I'm out. I'm going to the next homies who fall for my shit, because he comes with it all the time, man. The art of suggestion, that art of suggestion and how he does it, that's subtle, man. You gonna let that ride, man? You gonna let him do you like that, man? You gonna let him talk to you like that, man? You gonna let him woo. And it don't even be people outside. It's just him in your ear, man. You can't let them cut you off like that. That's where road rage comes from. Look there, gun somebody down on the freeway, man. You done lost your damn mind over what? The way somebody cut you off. But that's the enemy, and he, right? I always go back to that Dave Chappelle, when keeping it real goes wrong. That's the perfect example. You riding and you feel like you got to cuss that coworker out. I got to tell this man, you can't talk to me like that. One thing I realized, man, over my career is you're going to see people again. Be on the better side of that conversation, right? Don't feel like you got to play tit for tat, man, because when you get in the mud and gutter, can't nobody tell you the difference between you and the pigs. That's the problem, right? So you got to be careful with that. I have conversations with a lot of people because I've had experience in that, where I've had to fire back an email. I had to respond back to this coworker for whoa. Nah, you know what I mean? Now I'm realizing, man, better to be nice. As hard as and humble as that may make you, better to be nice. Just, you know what? Cool. Everybody gets theirs. That was the one thing I got from Death Row, that watching that was called Suge Knight, The Last Man Standing. Everybody gets theirs. Everybody. So you may not witness it, you know, God may not give you that victory in terms of you watching some revenge happen, but just know that everybody gets it. Everybody. Nobody escapes that. You know, whatever karma that they have coming, man. But I just did a post about that. What's up, Jason? I just did a post about that. Taking the high road. Take the high road, homie. The enemy wants you to get petty and in the mud with the pigs. God wants you to take the high road. You're like, man, come up here. I got a better view for you, man. You can see the flowers and you get up there and you be like, damn, I don't even see the pigsties. Nah, because you took the high road. Right? You take the high road. And that's hard. Man, I ain't even gonna respond to that. I ain't even gonna, man, I'm gonna let that. And you watch the karma that comes with whatever they get. You may not, like I said, you may not see it, but it's coming. It's coming. Trust me. And whatever you did right, that's the only thing you need to do is protect your karma, right? Because a lot of times the thing about the enemy is he's such a weirdo that he hits you, moves out the way, disappears, and then you end up hitting somebody else, right? Because you trying to swing back, right? You trying to play tit for tat. You trying to play God instead of letting God handle your heavy work, because you can't fight the enemy straight on. You need God's help. You try to swing at that enemy, man, you're going to swing at other people who was just in the way, right? A lot of casualties. And then the enemy bounces on you, right? So if you're going to swing back, man, ask God to do your swing. Hey, man, God, this fool just socked the shit out of me. He hit me with such a blow, man, I can barely breathe. And you pray. I mean, I'm telling you some real stuff, man. You cannot respond. You think you can, but then you start to get blood on your hands. And you got to deal with that karma alone, right? An act for an act, right? It's not about a balancing thing. You can't balance it out. Well, they did this, so I'm going to do this. No. That doesn't balance. There's no balancing act. You're only supposed to do right, period. You can't think, even when you, like, say, for instance, somebody come and try to buy my son something, somebody stole his catalytic converter. You're like, man, I would have wished I would have caught him. Do you? You'd have gunned somebody down. Ain't like I'm dying for stealing some. I mean, and granted, I hate thieves, but I mean, you want to live with that? That's what you want. You know, you don't want like that. You thinking that's not going to affect you killing somebody, right? Because they make it sound easy and heartless. And if you're a human being, taking somebody else's life has to be traumatic on you. A normal human being. If you're a schizo psychopath, then good luck to you. You need to be where you need to be, but in a natural sense, right? So just think about sometimes when the enemy convinced somebody to pull the squeeze on somebody. Like, damn, I thought, yeah, man, the enemy's out. So you got to be careful with the suggestion, with the preconditioning, because it's another thing that the enemy does is he preconditions you. When you start to think about how it happened, how did I get here, right? It was little small cuts. Right, 1,000 small cuts, right? You'll bleed to death. It's kind of what the same strategy that he uses. Let me do 1,000 small cuts, and then I'm gonna hit you with a dagger. Then I may try to slit your throat, right? But that's about how he works, right? So as long as you understand that, and a lot of things, you're gonna philosophize. Man, I'm trying to tell you, it's really like that, right? And if you get the fog away, right, which is the people. Because they're nothing, it's nothing but like a chess game. That's it. That's it. But you got to understand who's who. And where God's angels are from, they'll come at any time as long as you pray. And I'm not saying pray to Jesus. I'm just saying ask God for help. Ask God for help. You can't just think that you can write your karma. You can try to write your karma, but you still got to pay karmic debts. Period. And that's the reason why you need to get on the right side of things. Not bite when the enemy strikes. Don't do it. You're going to do his dirty work. Man, I'm about to kill these kids, man. Come on. That's somebody else's karma. If that's the case, if they doing you like that, you ain't the only one. Trust me. They ain't just picking you. So you don't feel like you got to do revenge. That's petty stuff, man. Get bigger. Get big on them. You know what I mean? I could dig why he did that. You know what I'm saying? That's been building up, and he's been looking for an opportunity to smack somebody on national TV so he get away from his soft side. I kill 2 birds with 1 stone right here. Right? And that's what he thought, this is my opportunity. Boom. You smack the taste out this mouth. I bet you I won't hear no more jokes. Period. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to do that. You know what I mean? But the enemy used him. You know what I mean? He's going to face consequences and maybe severe, but I'll tell you what, his manhood's in check. People are going to start respecting him, and maybe that's more important than an award. Maybe that's more important. I made my money. I've been at this. Y'all don't give me no award for this. All right, well, this is how I'm going to do this one. I'm going to smack him, go sit in my seat, get an award, and then go dance, do a speech about it, and wheezy out of here. And that was kind of his flow. And if you read his book, he'd been looking for a moment like that, especially for her, because the other stuff was mad disrespectful, and everybody looked at him like, dude, you super soft. And you got to be careful with how you deal with soft cats, right? They're gonna find a moment to be hard, man, and you don't want to be the victim of that, them finding that moment to be hard. Period. The enemy uses everybody evenly. Everybody. Right. So that's that's the killer right there, is just being aware of when it's happening and how it happens subtly. It's real subtle. It starts with little things, right? It's like that when I told you, if you deviate 1% for long enough, you'll be way off. And it starts with little stuff like that. It's the thought, right? Maybe seeing somebody in a similar situation, man. If that ever happened to me, man, I'm gonna tell you what. Oh, okay. And you just giving the enemy fuel now. Are you telling him what to? Okay, so all I gotta do is put this in your face, and you're gonna do this. Okay, we're here. Here, go right here. Bam. Oh, you didn't bite. Let me turn up the intensity, right? Let me turn up the intensity. Let me see if I can drive it to you. And that's kind of what, like I said, that's what they did with him. And it happened to me. Somebody came at me sideways. I'm like, man, cat came out of nowhere with some random ass BS. And I was like, oh, I got to be getting close, right? I got to be getting close. Something's about to pop for us. And lo and behold, I think it was like the next day, we got a shout out on something, and like for the chicken, and you know what I mean? And hair will start popping. I start fixed a couple things, and got our all these other things just start getting put in place. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting better, right? Because in a normal situation, I would have been distracted. I would have took my attention on that. I would have let it bother me. I would have stayed focused. Nah, homie, moving on out of here, on to the next. And you gotta be like that, man. You gotta have a laser focus and understand the closer you get to it, the more he's gonna bring the heat. He's gonna bring the noise. So just prepare yourself. Some tools to prepare yourself. I got a couple. I actually got a book. Let me see where it is. I got my Audible up already for y'all, so I can share this with you. Let's see, screen. Go ahead, open up a window for y'all. My Audible library is up already, so let me share it. All right, The Courage to Be Disliked. So I got this suggestion from Tim Ferris and another guy that was talking about that. But this is the book that just, it talks about how to free yourself from that obligation of feeling like you got to compete against somebody, because that's kind of where you know y- you need to be yourself and understand your individual path, right? And it's not competition all the time. But yeah, I got this. I have a subscription to it. So I subscribe to Audible. Cost me like $14, but I get like 3 books, and it forces you to read. You know what I'm saying? It forces you to listen, because it forces you to explore. You may want to change things. So let me see what else I got here. This one. So I'm still listening to this, and this one, and and right now it's about being who you are. It's not about fronting anymore. A lot of people, I think I've seen somebody talked about that, was just, the courage to be who you are. And when we grew up, it was a lot of gang banging. It was a lot of, everybody was forced. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be an oceanographer. I lived in San Diego. I love the ocean. I love silver dollars. I love sea lion. I mean, what are they called? Seahorses, all that. But falling to peer pressure, you start to hang around certain people. You want to hustle. You want to do the same things that they're doing. You start to do the same things that they're doing. And then you lose sight of who you are. You start to become whoever the masses were. And that's the thing. You start and you go back and you're like, man, you know what? I need to be who I am. You know what I'm saying? Which is a lot of things. I'm a researcher. I'm a educator. I'm a father. What I'm not is whatever these fools were. You know what I'm saying? And keep that real. Whatever these cats were, that's what I'm not. I'm not that man, and that's not what they are either. Everybody's fronting. That ain't what you really are. You like this, and that, but you don't want to let anybody know who you really are. And that's one of the hardest things, is to live your true self. Who are you? What are you? A lot of time we try to mask things on, like, let me be this, let me show I'm super gangster tough. Man, come on. Who born like that? Nobody. Right? So it's all an act. Somebody like that, they just looking for love anyway, or they just been, or they got mental health issues and they're a psychopath. You know what I mean? But outside of that, who's born like that? Nobody. We born with love and kindness, and kids want to be kids. And you look at kids and the innocence. That's our truth. We want to be around other people. We want gangsters want to be loved. I watched 4 or 5 gang things, and I'm like, y'all just want to be seen, heard, and respected. And that sounds human. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like ain't nobody paying attention to you. It sounds like the reason probably why you out here doing it because you want to be seen. And your parents may not have time to pay attention to you or see you. So I know that that's what we was running out in the streets for. And these, some of these books help you to really discover who you are, man. You might like yoga. I don't do yoga. Why? Because you never tried it. You don't know. Oh man, I just, okay, well, I'm gonna start to question who you are if you're spending 90% of times around your homeboys. Think you need to question it too. So, and that's my thing. It's like try different things, man. You don't know who you are until you go out there and discover who you are. You got to figure that part out. Who am I? Right? Because then once you start living your true self, man, life gets smooth and easy. I realize I don't have to dumb down nothing. I don't need to go hang out. Man, for what? For what? I'm not doing that. I don't drink, so I'm not hanging out. Oh, let's go, man. Nah. And shut it down. And be okay with, I'm about to go to the tide pools with my kids. We're about to go get ice cream. Right? I'm about to go to the weekend and we paddleboarding with my wife. I'm doing that kind of stuff. I'm being intentional. You know what I'm saying? So that if the enemy comes, I know it ain't nothing that God can't handle for me. I know my intentions wasn't wrong. I'm not going in with doing the wrong thing. You dig? So that's that. But anyways, these are my books. Try to be disliked. It's long. I would do the Audible because I think it's a pretty big book. But it's good. I only got an hour left. It's really good. It's like a parable. It's 2 people talking. But it's one of those books that makes you really, that's an eye opener, right? That makes you really look at not only just yourself, but how have I been conditioned? You know what I'm saying? To really believe certain things, right? How have I been conditioned, and who conditioned me? What have I been exposed to? So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That will conclude our episode. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe, man. If you guys haven't, please hit the subscription button. Share this with anybody who you feel like can use this type of motivation, who you feel like they need a little bit of change in their life, maybe just a little nudge. Hopefully my experiences can become an inspiration to anybody. Please share or hit the subscribe. And I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. Tap it out.